Welcome back to the Pain Game YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you haven't already, now is the time to subscribe. We've got lots of boxing news coming up today, but also we are on the countdown for Undisputed Fury versus Usyk. Lots of content coming up for that. So if you haven't already, hit the like button as well. Cheers. So Conor McGregor has gone wild on Ryan Garcia on social media after his positive drugs test. Cheated the weight and was juiced. Lifetime ban. Sad to say. Sad to say. Sad and a bit sick. Don't come near me if I ever see you, Ryan Garcia. I'm not really sure that's the tone of voice he said it in. I'm just making it up. I am actually disgusted. Disgusted! Was fucking warriors, he says to Ryan Garcia and Sean O'Malley. This Osterine, it reminds me of Sean O'Malley was on that as well. I don't like this. I'll bust yous both up. Do yous want to spar? I will set flights right now. For you both, if you think you're hard enough. He didn't say that bit. One spar each. Hotel, Black Forge Inn, the lot. Still got to get the advertising the pub in there, even when you're calling people out for drug use. Well, ironic. There's a lot of drug use goes on in the Black Forge Inn, apparently. Awkward. Two little Osterine heads. I'll ride you both like ostriches. Don't think that's going to make it in the Drake versus Kendrick Lamar beef, but we'll see. If I was Haney's dad, you're dead no matter what for doing that. Get your head together, because I'm going to smash it in with elbows if you don't. That's a weird one, because I kind of feel like, are you giving like big brotherly advice, or you just wanting to threaten him, or a bit of both? He then says, fair play, Devin. Well done. Your performance has just become even more heroic. And then he ends the tweet quite weirdly in block capitals saying, get your head together or kill yourself. Now, I don't think that was directed at Devin Haney, despite him previously just talking about Haney. I think that was at Ryan Garcia. And I know a lot of people have a problem with Conor McGregor about the fact that he said, go and do that yourself. I don't think he meant it literally. I think it's him venting with anger and rage, to be fair to McGregor. I don't think he should be saying that, don't get me wrong. I mean, where was this energy when John Jones tested positive? I think that this is partly down to Conor McGregor is looking at Ryan Garcia, he's looking at Sean O'Malley, and he's seeing the next big stars coming up in the fight game, and he's feeling a bit Kanye West about it, right? He's looking at them being the Drake coming through and thinking, nah, I'm still the king. I've got a fight coming up. I'm going to use this to gain attention and put it back on me. Clever. To be fair to him, not clever in the way he's worded that. I do think he was probably pissed at the time that he wrote it, which obviously doesn't bode well if he's supposed to be taking this fight training seriously. Strategically speaking, I understand why he's done this. So Ryan responds,
hey, Dylan Dennis, you can suck a little one. All right? How about that? Nobody likes you, bro.
Just like, nobody likes you. So what you gonna do about it? Dylan did insert himself into this, as per usual.
Hope you in Vegas, too. I'm gonna beat your ass when I see you, bro. I want to smoke with everybody, and bring your friend Connor too.
I've noticed the twitch is coming back with Ryan Garcia, that little rabbit's nose twitch that he does. I think he's having a good time in Vegas right now.
I'll smoke him too. What? Oh!
What's with all these chicks behind him just while he's just looking into a phone going, what? Like, it's a bit fucking mental, isn't it? Them girls behind him must be thinking, I hope we get some money out of this, because fuck me, this is weird.
I'll put him to sleep. I bet y'all felt that power through the screen. I will knock Conor McGregor out bad. Bad. You think Floyd did him bad? And I'll let him weigh whatever he wants. And I'll let him take steroids.
So Ryan's offered bare knuckle against Conor McGregor, which is obviously relevant because Conor's just invested in BKFC, so that kind of makes sense as to why he's bringing that up. Plus, it would just be fucking cool as fuck, wouldn't it? Because we know in an MMA fight, if Conor's even half the fighter he used to be, and he's got all those skills and his leg isn't too bad, Conor gets inside, grapples him, takes him down, and submits him probably. As much as that's not Conor's normal game, he's a brown belt or a black belt under John Kavanagh, he would absolutely submit Ryan Garcia very easily, in my opinion. On the flip side, if it was in a boxing ring, I think Conor McGregor has never been around a fighter with the talent of Ryan Garcia before, in terms of like hand speed, boxing talent. He's never known anything like it, and I think it would be a real shock to the system. He would be getting punched all over from shots he didn't even see coming. And I think McGregor wouldn't even last a couple of rounds, to be honest. It would be that quick, it would be that easy. But bare knuckle, I still think it would be pretty comfortable for Ryan, to be honest with you, but it would be fucking exciting. This idea that can McGregor use his dirty tactics and all of that, it would be an amazing event, that. So it is a bit like Conor calling out Canelo back in the day. Like, we know what he's doing it for. It's not in his wildest fucking dreams as he's stepping foot in there with either of these men. That's just not happening. But it is a bit ironic that Conor's going after Ryan Garcia when he himself came out of the UFC drug testing pool after the leg break because he clearly ran a course of steroids in order to help him recover from the leg break. Now, while he recovered from the leg break, and that must have helped him, let's not kid ourselves, he did show clear physical signs of insane muscle gains. And when you do come off the gear, we've seen in the past from UFC fighters, some of that stays. Like, those changes in your body don't just go away overnight. The Conor McGregor we're getting back into the UFC, upper body-wise, is probably not going to be the same guy who left before he went on the steroid cycle. So for him to say Ryan's cheated, all right, Ryan, it was in competition, it is different, and he at least took himself out of the UFC, but Conor's made permanent changes to his body as well. So if anyone's going to shout about this, it probably shouldn't be him. So in regards to the guilt or innocence of Ryan Garcia, he's posted an image on his Twitter account of multiple tests that he passed on the run-up to the fight throughout February, March, and even at the beginning of April, saying basically, why would I be negative throughout this and then just take steroids right at the end of my training camp when all of the hard work's done and the gains that I could get from taking something right at the end would not really amount to anything inside a fight. That's why he's pointing at the fact of, I've been framed here. This isn't me deliberately taking anything. Something's happened where it's been put in my system and I've not been aware of it right at the end so that I would pop after the fight. And as crazy as it sounds, it is a good sign for him pleading innocence that he has all these negative tests to show, right, look, this ain't a consistent thing here. And maybe there's been a mistake. I'm not saying I believe that, but we have to see how this plans out. One person who's given a little bit of their expertise on it is this geezer called More Plates, More Dates. He's been on the Joe Rogan podcast before. He's obsessed with this stuff, and he thinks it's unlikely that this is a deliberate thing.
Would Ryan be intentionally taking something with an Ostarine product for performance enhancement right on like the day of his fight, essentially, or right before it? Why would he be doing that at an amount that is likely completely impossible to impart a performance enhancing advantage? It's not really going to do a whole lot. It's not going to do anything from a resilience standpoint. If anything, it's just unnecessary risk if you were to intentionally take this compound right before your fight. But they're so detectable, it's absurd. Like, you would not be using this for performance enhancement as your compound of choice, especially at the time that he used it. So I'm very skeptical that this was intentionally used. And it is very common for dietary supplements, especially ones that are not NSF certified. You are just asking to test positive.
So that sort of makes sense, right? It's very detectable. It's often commonly used in dietary supplements. And for him to really get gains at that level, at that stage, it doesn't make sense. It would be a bonehead decision for Ryan's team after passing all of those tests to then test positive at that point. Again, I'm not saying I believe everything right now. I really don't want to come across that way because I'm keeping an open mind and I always err on the side of guilty whenever you see a positive test. But despite me trying to keep an open mind, it is positive news for boxing in that we want our biggest new star to have a legitimate win. We don't want him to be a fucking drugs cheat, and hopefully he's not.
Hello, I'm Travis Tigert from USADA. We've issued an athlete advisory. It's actually a dietary supplement warning about a group of drugs that we're finding in a lot of dietary supplements known as SARMs. They're prohibited in sport and include names like Ostarine.
Okay, so that was USADA, the guys who did the UFC drug testing for a long time, saying that these things are being found in dietary supplements. So again, there is a chance Ryan unknowingly took something in trying to help him shed the last few pounds off, to help him lose weight, and then popped hop for it. And interestingly, I spoke to my old mate, Believing Bruce. Some of you might remember his amazing body language videos from YouTube where he goes into fighter psychology and who really believes whether or not they're telling the truth in face-offs and that sort of thing. I sent him the Ryan Garcia videos, the interviews, and I said, is this man telling the truth in your opinion? And he said, look, whether or not he's failed the test in terms of scientifically speaking, I don't know if he's unknowingly ingested anything, but what I can say is in his interviews, he believes 100% he is telling the truth. So in his mind, Ryan Garcia fully believes what he is saying to us. Again, that's a body language expert's take on it. Obviously, we haven't got a fucking lie detector on him, and I know some of you'll be skeptical about that, but I really think Believing Bruce offers a lot of value with his takes. So that did make me think maybe this is an accident. Now, there's a clip of Jake Paul and Ryan going back and forward about it.
If you did do it, then that's really fucked up, bro. And I'm
Bro, I didn't do it, bro.
I'm gonna be pissed off at you as a friend,
I'll
and
punch
like that's
myself in the
fucked
face
up,
right
bro.
now, bro.
Jake Paul says he's going to be pissed off at Ryan Garcia about this.
If you did though,
If
I
did it, bro, which I know damn well I didn't, I would have quit boxing, bro. I didn't do it, bro.
Yeah, we wouldn't want someone getting an unfair advantage on their opponent now, would we, Jake? Fuck me. Of all the people that complain, Mike Tyson should be allowed every fucking drug under the sun to fight this man.
Garcia denies the doping. What are your thoughts on the denial?
I mean, of course. I mean, whoever got caught doping and admit it.
Now, he's got a point. You know, I've never seen a boxer go, yeah, I was cheating. You got me. I mean, have you seen him? Bloody hard fight, that man. I wasn't going to go in there and fucking lose. He did bet the house on himself as well. That is another, like, overweight, on the gear, and you bet the house on yourself. You weren't losing this fight in his mind. You know what I mean? Does look a bit fishy as well.
I'm a special kind of fighter. So, you know, I never fought, and, you know, a guy has been that much better than me. You know, I've never been overmatched like that, and I've been in there with the best fighters in the world.
Very honest, by the way. So fair play to him for that. But he's being honest now that the guy's popped up for steroids. Would he have said this prior to that?
But it definitely had me questioning, you know, a lot of things. My preparation, you know, my trainers, my team, myself.
And look, he still should be questioning things, because from what we're hearing from these steroid experts, the drug that Ryan Garcia took, given the window of time that he would have been taking it for, whether he was knowing about it or not, wouldn't have given him some sort of superhuman ability to go from losing to Devin Haney to beating the shit out of Devin Haney. It's not going to give him that much of an advantage. May have given him some advantage, but not to such a drastic degree. Would it have changed the outcome? It doesn't sound like it. So therefore, Haney still should be questioning himself, his team, his game plan, and where he is really as a fighter and what he needs to work on.
Yeah. How interested are you in getting back in there with him again?
Honestly, I'm not too interested in it.
I'm surprised you're saying that. Right after the fight, there was a lot of talk about wanting a rematch from him, but especially his dad.
We've seen a lot of interesting things from him. You know, we've seen his character. We've seen the guy cheat. We see the type of person that he is.
I mean, I thought the build-up was actually quite a lot of fun from him. Yeah, he said some fucked up shit in terms of jokes, bad jokes. Also, the Haneys were saying they were going to fucking kill him. You know, Garcia was saying, I'm going to kill you too. Like, there was a lot of dark shit coming out from both sides. So I don't think you can point the finger and be like, oh, Garcia was a dick on the run-up, as if the Haneys weren't also being dicks. Like, everyone was being dicks.
I don't see myself ever, you know, getting back in the ring. But, you know, I'm a fighter. I'm speaking, you know, right now with how I feel. But we never know what the future holds.
I'm really surprised that he's saying this, because a lot of fighters, when they get chinned like that, they can't wait to get back in the ring and put it right. For him to say in this interview, I've never been outmatched like that, I don't want to fight him again, it's the opposite of what we usually hear. And maybe deep down, after feeling the power of Ryan, he's like, nah, fuck that. And it might take him a long time of going off, fighting other fighters, rebuilding his confidence, and then thinking, right, I've got the skills now to deal with Ryan. But he seems a mile away from thinking that right now. And fair play, he's being real. But if he thought it was just the drugs that made that win happen, he'd be demanding a rematch right now, saying, drug-free, let's get it on again, and I'll beat you the next time. He's not saying that. So I think deep down, he knows who the fuck won that fight. And here's the thing, I'm seeing a lot of Haney lovers and Ryan Garcia haters on social media, and I respect, like, people are going to be pissed about a positive steroid test. They've got every right to feel that way. But look at the way the fighters are talking. You can take away the W all you want. Ryan Garcia beat the shit out of Devin Haney, and I think Devin knows it would happen again. Now on to Canelo Alvarez, who returned to the ring on the weekend against Munguia, who was a 27-year-old Mexican 6-foot super middleweight fighter who had 43 wins, no losses, never been knocked down. A real good test for Canelo to get in there and see what he's still got left at this point in his career. And the answer was quite a lot, right? He's not in his prime anymore, in my opinion, but he still handled this fight really well. So when the fight started, you could see Munguia had clearly paid close attention to the Dimitri Bivol game plan, as he tried to do a very similar job of staying at range, using his height and his reach to get those long-range shots out, those straight shots, get behind the jab, and try to outwork Canelo. And to be fair to Munguia, he looked good in the first few rounds. You could see why he'd had all of those wins. But Canelo was just too composed for Munguia. All of those shots weren't really doing much. That jaw is made of iron, and it's going to take something special to make Canelo even look bothered in there. And whenever Canelo answered back, you could see Munguia was far more phased than anything. Oh, and that uppercut was beautiful from Canelo. To be fair to Munguia, he showed a lot of heart in there after such a big punch. That was a sweet one, right on the chin. And this fight, for me, was a great lesson for young fighters to watch in terms of ring IQ. Canelo stayed patient, let the other guy get his shots off, and then just dominated him with accuracy and power, and just let him know who the fuck the boss was. Because he knew, oh, when I hit you, it's going to hurt you more than you're going to hurt me. And as basic as that sounds, that's sometimes in fights like this what really counts. And even though Munguia, like, he's really trying, but it was just like 1, 2 from Canelo had more of an impact than 5 or 6, 7 shots from Munguia. Now, Canelo was accused of carrying Munguia by Terence Bud Crawford, who has been calling for that Canelo fight. I didn't think he carried him. I think that when you're allowing the other guy to hit you with that many punches, you're not carrying him, right? Like, Tyson Fury carried Chisora. This wasn't that bad. I do understand that people would look at Canelo and think, is the spite there the way it usually is? Like, when he really dislikes someone, he wants to put them in the ground, there's more spite there. But I honestly just thought, like, we're just seeing a different version of Canelo than the old version of Canelo. Specifically the speed. He's just not got that snap in his punches that he used to have. He's still strong, but he's not as devastating because he can't catch you in a vulnerable position the way he used to with that quickness that he had. So overall, it was a great performance by an older Canelo. All right, he's not old in age, but he is old in boxing years, against this young lad who really had a hell of a record, never been put down, and had no intention of going down. Like, he was going to go out on a shield. You would have had to nail him to the floor, this kid. Because, like a lot of fighters, when you're fighting Canelo, you raise your game, and he brought 110% for that fight. That being said, I do think Canelo is aging, and we're seeing it slowly but surely, and he is in that position right now where you're like, if you got in there against a serious one like a Benavidez, you're getting fucked up. It's always a treat watching Canelo. I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of everything we've talked about in this comment section below. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to the Pain Game YouTube channel, and I'll see you on the next one.